Check it. It's about that time once again for more Atari action. Now, we had a little bit the other night, but because YouTube isn't capable of processing the video for some reason, and because I didn't record a backup, that one is almost lost to the ages. So let's play a little bit more, stream a little bit more action again. I will include a link in the description to the very searchable live stream we did day one. It's just not showing up on the channel for some reason, so thanks for that, YouTube. Fix your broke shit. The Atari Flashback 8 Gold. I've certainly seen worse plug-and-plays out there. But I want to go over a little bit about what this thing can do. And we looked at it in the day one stream, but now let's look at it again. Now, if you're wanting to use the original Atari controller, which I am, you're going to be disappointed because it doesn't have the buttons on the bottom needed to control the side menu, which is kind of silly. We are joined by the Retro Nobody and Zion Freeman already on our live stream. Thanks for showing up, guys. We're going to have some fun with this thing here. But yeah, this is so counterintuitive, this menu over here. You actually got to use a select button on the damn thing. And I think, yeah, it had a little bit of a lag there, but the one on the console does work. But ideally, you want the console put up somewhere, not right next to you. Anyway, I guess that would work if you got it wired in. At least it's right next to you and you can use it that way. It took a second for the sound to come on when you turn the thing on. There's a couple of things I noticed that are just like, I don't know, but, you know. Anyway, you can alphabetize them. You can put your favorites in here. I didn't put Frontline on there, I don't believe. Maybe that was accidental. These are all the games we played in the first stream. And again, I will put a link to that live stream that I did in the description in case this was not enough action for you. And then it can separate them by Atari and Activision. This one has some Activision stuff on it. And a QR code for some BS nobody cares about. The most vexing thing about this was the save states and how to get to them. And not every game supports them. So before we start here, let's look at some Sword Quest. That'd be a fun one to look at, and I'm sure it has it. Little information about the game, yada yada. Alright, so you're... Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. So we're playing some Sword Quest, right? Assuming that here's the part that gets crazy. Assuming you want to save, you have to hold down on the joystick and hit the select button. And you got to be holding down first to bring up this menu. Now, it's not always so easy to hold down. You may not be in a position to do that without killing yourself. That's very inconvenient. I realize the thing has only one button, but dadgum. You actually had the ability to add as many as you wanted to this controller, so do with that what you will. Now, up should save the game to slot 1, and then you go right back to the action. Now, to see if it did that, we're going to hit over to the left, as it requires us to do to see more saved game slots. Okay, so there it is. Slot 1. So it's usable. Again, you're probably like, well, why didn't you just read the instructions, dummy? It's not in the damn instructions. It's a poster on one side and a bunch of BS about how to turn it on and turn it off. Nothing about the save states in the instructions, the part that would literally be the most difficult to figure out if you didn't know how to use it. And a new feature on top of that for the flashbacks. None of them previously have had this. This thing is equipped with stunning 720p HD output and save states akin to what we've experienced on the NES Classic, SNES Classic, just maybe not quite as streamlined, not as nice due to just being inaccessible. But at any rate, that's that. That's the skinny on that. It's pretty cool. The more I think about it, though, there is not a whole lot of instances in which you're going to be needing to save your game on an Atari game. Unless you just got to take a mean diarrhea Duke or something and you just got to hike one. And that happens. Every once in a while you have to hike one and it just can't wait. I gotta hike one and it just won't wait. I gotta take a big old dump. Captain Retro has joined us. Welcome, Captain. I've spoke at length with Captain about our previous video, never processing and being lost in YouTube limbo space for eternity. Luckily, we have Restream, which fixes the bugs on both the ends of YouTube and Twitch, but both of the aforementioned are big boys in this business that need to get their shit together. But who's going to make them? Let's play some more Centipede. I was really vibing on that the other day. Damn it. We're centipeding it up now, buddy. We are joined by Chasing the Classics. Welcome, Chasing the Classics. Be rad. Zion Freeman says he's about to play some Atari on his Xbox. I'm assuming you mean the Flashback collection, which is a great collection, at a great price. Certainly a purchase I don't regret at all. I love hooking up my old Atari hardware, I really do, but you can't always. Sometimes it's just a char-grilled pain in the tuchus. Oh my god, I just got centipeded. We are also joined by the Woodbury and Retro Game Hunter. Welcome, Wood. And I just got homed in. I mean, god, this is just falling apart like a Chinese motorcycle. I had such a great game going. Oh well. Dadgummit, I'm toast. Not gonna get that good of a score twice in a row. Hey, I never said I was any good at these. Yeet double dunk. Let's do it. Yeet double dunk. Okay, this is the part where the game starts. I didn't even get to do anything yet. Oh, come on. You finally came across an Atari 400 power supply. I can't imagine where. That must have been a tough one to find. I'm lucky enough to have all the parts I need for my Atari 400, just not lucky enough to have the time to ever plug the damn thing in and enjoy it. I remember this game now. This should be called Unplayable Basketball for the 2600. What a frickin' piece of diarrhea. Some of these games were just so great, and I mean, some of them just sucked. And no, obviously graphics have nothing to do with it. But there were so many unplayable Atari games. It was just like, there's no way you released this like this. We didn't get to do any Tempest the other night, so let's do it. Boom. Yeah, boy. Jeez. Man, I'm good at this. Boom. What happened? I didn't get hit. Boom. I suck. It was really hit or miss when we first plugged this thing in, trying to figure out everything that it did. So in light of the lack of processing on our last live stream and the fact that we were all over the place chasing our ass trying to figure this thing out, I at least wanted to do a follow-up stream to show what it could do. We've seen the save states and the menus, that being the most important part, and the part that made me want to pull my hair out the most. Now that I know what to do, I'm less angry, but I'm still a little bit, I don't know, man. Maybe they couldn't do better on that, but... There we go. Bentley Bear. I love me some Crystal Castles, man. I love me some Crystal Castles, you know, the actual arcade mode, arcade port. This was about as bad as a home version as they come, but it was still playable, remarkably playable. And again, speaking of that flashback collection for the current gen consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, it has a really good arcade port of Crystal Castle on there for you to enjoy. That was the first one I went for too. When I plugged it in, man, it's time ready to get my Bentley Bear on. And while we're talking about old as shit games that did not transfer to home console as fluidly as they probably wish they had, I want to talk about another YouTuber for just a minute. GenXGrownUp. Some of you may watch GenXGrownUp. I stumbled across him by accident one day, and turned out we've got a lot in common. The guy does some really, really remarkable stuff. His format, his presentation is just absolutely phenomenal. And he recently did a... Oh, dadgummit, Bentley Bear! Okay, anyway, where were we? He recently did a retrospective on Pac-Man. specifically the 2600. He's been doing a lot of 2600 stuff, but I really, really enjoyed his Pac-Man segment. John does some pretty heavy-duty shit, man. So if you haven't watched GenXGrownUp yet, I'm going to insist that you do so. And I'm going to put a link specifically to that Pac-Man vid he did in the description as well, because it was just a treat. I enjoyed it over a cup of afternoon coffee, and man, it just made my day. I mean, everybody does cool stuff on here, and there's lots of stuff to enjoy, but every once in a while, somebody makes a video that's just like, wow, absolutely mind-blowing. Chasing the Classics asks if I have been able to play Assault Suit Lanos yet. Yes, that was a day one purchase. Triple J J-Town was in the stock room at GameStop the day that shit came out, unpacked it, sent me a picture. He goes, dude, what the hell is this? And I knew right away, because I mean, that's what Target Earth on the Genesis was called in Japan. It was Assault Suit Lanos. When I saw that, I voided my bowels. I had to go change my underwear. I said, dude, do you have Target Earth for the PS effing 4 in your hand right now? And, you know, we had just played Target Earth the other night over here at my place, and I was like, oh my God, I see it now. You know, looking at it, he's like, yeah, that's it. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, hold it for me. I'm gonna show up in my underwear down there. I'm on my way. So yes, Assault Suit Lanos is a triumph. It's every bit as difficult as you remember, and but it's just beautiful, and the music is just amazing. I mean, and I'm sitting there playing it, and I'm thinking in my mind, who in the hell got the wild hair up their butt to do a modern day Target Earth? I mean, this is like one of those things where like, oh yeah, they should do that. But they're not gonna do it. You know when you're saying stuff like that. Oh, that hat didn't last long at all. I'm throwing the flag on that. That was a bum hat. It didn't last long enough. But yeah, you're thinking, no, they would never remake Target Earth. I would never even fantasize about it. Not gonna happen. Would not happen. Could not happen. And then, lo and behold, oh, dadgum tree's trying to box me in. Lo and behold, you know, we get it. Oh, he cornered me, damn it. And so we get it. And yeah, I did a playthrough of that. Did a couple of them, actually. Earlier on, closer to when that game launched. But yeah, for a damn $20 game, a remarkable value. And if you played Target Earth back in the day, hell, I wore it out. That was just a treat for the senses, man. The artwork and everything was true to form. You know, they had this new campaign mode that still stayed true to form. And then they had the revamped actual classic Dead Nuts. It's like, oh my God, is there anything else you could have possibly in a world where things come out and there's always so many things wrong with them? You get this thing, and it's like you're dreaming. You're waiting for the alarm to go off. It's like, this doesn't exist. There is no damn way this frickin' works. So Chasing the Classics is talking about a second one from Japan. Now, if there is a second one, I've not played that, but I can tell you that I'm extremely intrigued. I would love to get my hands on it, and at the very least, I want to watch it, and of course, you've got to stream it for me, because I would love to see it. Let me know when you're going to do that. Count me in. I will be there. I haven't got to play any Millipede yet, so let's do it. Gum, boy. You turd burfle. Oh my God, they're just sliding pretty as you please, right past the bullets. Oh my god, that's like the worst sound ever. Well, that unraveled quickly. We gotta do better than that. Yeah. Yeah, shutting you up. Spider turd. Woo! No! Jesus! Man, I miss playing games like this. So what's really going down tonight is Mario Odyssey when it launches. And that's going to be off the hook. I will probably not be streaming any of that action until tomorrow. But I really wanted to sneak in some of this and do it through Restream so it'll actually process worth a Duke and show up on my channel the next day. And of course the newness of this hasn't worn off yet. I mean, I can play any of these games on my Atari, but streaming them with this HD Flashback Gold 8 is a much different experience. Not to mention, the HD does look good, man. It's a treat. Let's see, what else was on the list? Space Invader. A lot of games coming out tonight. We've also got Assassin's Creed Origins. Very excited for that. Wolfenstein comes out. I'm not... Yeah, with the spaceship. Not worried about Wolfenstein. I mean, I think it'll be good, but... Right now, I've got such a backlog. I mean, I almost bail on Mario because it's like, yeah, I'm just not going to have time to play it. But you got to get a new Mario. You're not allowed to not do that, so... And I am excited about it. It's a little abstract for my taste, but, you know, this Nintendo stuff always is. I have to believe that they've got us another instant classic on the way. Now, whether it's going to be a perfect 10 the way Breath of the Wild was, I don't know. Odds are good. I mean, it's quality as it's going to get for Nintendo when you're talking about that much of a first-party giant like that. I mean, this is their flagship here. And for all those naysayers that say, don't pre-order your games, I want you to know I got a pretty bitchin' Mario Odyssey poster for pre-ordering and scored me a Cappy hat. And yeah, so that's why you do that. I don't mind pre-ordering. The stores need you to do it. And God, with Nintendo stuff, you hate if it sells out. A lot of time it does. I mean, at whatever location you're wanting to pick up. Midnight launches have really become a thing of the past. A lot of people just don't go to them anymore. And I can't go to the one tonight. Got kitties to take care of. Babies. Family stuff. Domestication. Can't be running around at 1 a.m. But if I had nothing to do, I'd go. I'd play all night. Get 48 Mountain Dews and a box of Slim Jims and a couple of big grabs of Doritos. And party all night. Yeah, the smart play on any of the games I was just talking about is not buying it day one because we're right on the cusp of Black Friday. Y'all know that. You'll be picking up all the stuff for like $30. I mean, Mario may not go down, but Assassin's Creed definitely will. I gotta say, Assassin's Creed Origins looks amazing. And that didn't fucking hit me! Dadgummit. Let's start making a dent over here. So much more I've wanted to do with the channel this week and just haven't been able to for one reason or another. I mean, you would not believe the week I'm having. Oh, that hit you, punk. I dipped into a Supercuts to get my hair cut, right? And I wouldn't normally do that because y'all know I value my hair. But I was in a hurry, man. I was like, how bad could it be, right? It was bad. I mean, woman gouged me like an inch over my ear with the buzzers. I mean, it looked like I'd been scalped by a tribe or something of freaking cannibal warriors. I came out of there thinking, what in the world? So I called the corporate office, man. I was like, man, you ought to see me right now. I said, I look like I've been in a car accident. I paid you to look like this. And I didn't really see the full extent of the damage while I was there because I had my glasses off. My eyesight's not great. I'm in a hurry. She didn't do the once over with the mirror. I'm thinking, oh, okay, you know, how bad could it be? Let's just go home. It looks fine in the front. But no, business was in the front, but there wasn't no party in the rear, man. I looked terrible. It's like I had the start of a mullet. So I went back to another location, and they had someone a little bit more professional fix me up. But God, who has time to go get 2 haircuts in a week? Alright, let's see here. So yeah, just one of many things that have been a pain in my ass this week. Breakout time. Yeah, I actually played some Space Invaders recently in the arcade. At the Captain Retro arcade, as a matter of fact, in his garage. Now, if you watch Captain's latest video today, he has reported that he has sold that cabinet, so that's kind of heartbreaking, but I know he'll just get another one. But yeah, that was a neat little unit right there. Hell, I'd have bought it from you if I had any money to give you. The gaming budget right now, God, the struggle is real. We are joined by Trident. Welcome, Trident. I'm sure most of my Call of Duty guys are gearing up for World War II. I'm still not 100 on that, man. Trying to be sold on it, but I'm just not. Oh, Jesus! God, it's so jerky. Captain says he sold it for 400. That's good. I could see that. I mean, that's a nice little profit for you. Yeah, I don't think I wanted a World War II Call of Duty. I don't recall asking for that. The whole world asked for it, but I didn't. They should have checked with me on that first. I'm not okay with it. I mean, we can do boots on the ground without having to go all the way back to the frickin' caveman days. I don't get into those guns, man. It's just not fun. I mean, the first Black Ops is one of the best Call of Duties, and it's one that, as a clan, we had the most fun with. Also, Modern Warfare 3. Fantastic, so. And my paddle's not moving. Dadgum, boy! This thing's jerkier than a freaking dude with a swank mag and a bathroom stall. But again, just showcasing a little of what this thing can do. There's a lot of not official games put on here, and that's cool, I guess. Got some Air Raiders on here. Anybody remember Air Raiders? That was a thing. The power is in the air, Air Raiders. I've got an Air Raiders comic book put up somewhere. Oh, I think I'm going to take off. Oh, I pulled up too quick. I am no longer raiding the air. There we go. Oh, okay. What? Who's shooting? Retro Nobody, thanks for joining us, buddy. Good to see you in here. Don't forget to drop a like on this video if you like it. Or maybe even if you don't and you pity me, you can drop one. Okay, you know, this started out cool. I mean, there was a couple planes. I shot them. What in the nine hells? What's shooting me? It's probably you. Okay, so 40 is apparently as high as you can go on the altitude. Oh, look at this. Look at this. I suppose that's it. Well, I've certainly seen worse. You know, I don't believe I saw Star Raiders on here. Was it not? Star Strike, Star Master, Starship, no Star Raiders. I'll be a son of a B.I.H. It's one of my favorites. Now, I have plenty of ways to play that. That's not a big deal, but I'm just surprised that's not on here. Sword fight! That sounds like fun. Oh, boy, I might have misspoke. Oh, look at that! Okay. The directions do nothing. The button makes the lightsaber come out. I wonder if this is a two-player only deal. Either way, my guy's not doing anything. Now, here's another thing. You hit the replay button, this thing can go back and you can have an instant replay of something you just did. Yeah, not the sword fight I'm used to, Trident says. Yeah, this is a pretty uneventful one right here. Some of these games, man, are just like, why did you even put this on here? Move the joystick to control 3 offensive swings and 3 defensive blocks. Move the joystick to the upper left for a left swing, up for an overhead swing, upper right for a right swing. Okay. That's not doing anything. With or without the button, it's not doing anything. So this game's an unplayable hunk of shit. Football on the 2600 was also just an unplayable hunk of shit. Worthless game. How could, I mean, everyone's like, oh, video game crashes, and like, you know, well, there was a video game crash, but man, they flooded the market with a lot of horse shit. That played a big part in it. I mean, there were so many unplayable games. So many of these games are like, God, if I got this for my birthday, I would have killed myself. Now, the big perk here being that you got Activision games with this one, whereas older iterations of the Atari Flashback did not have that. Ow! That didn't hit me! Chopper Command was always one I really thought highly of. It was, you know, you've got unplayable games on the Atari, because, I mean, let's face it, people were still getting their programming legs back then. It wasn't easy to make a game at that point. That didn't hit me! Then you had games that were playable, that regardless of maybe any shortcomings they had, as long as the gameplay was fun, they still worked their way into your collection and into your heart, and earned their spot as classics. Thanks for that. But then there's games like this that were just remarkably playable, and, you know, you could jump right in there and get the action going. Everything about it felt natural. I talk to more people that remember Chopper Command fondly and enjoy it than I talk to people that don't. Surprised Activision didn't try to find a way to put microtransactions on this game for the re-release on the gold. Connect it to Wi-Fi and buy extra choppers. Boy, that's a monster markedly changed there when you talk about them. Well, wasn't going to be a long stream tonight. This was just a mini run. I just wanted to get back on here and run a couple of test plays here. Play a couple of titles. I want to show you the menu operation, the save states, and the way they work. Again, the save states don't work on every game, but that's not really a shortcoming. When you think about it, most of these games you might never have a need to save your game on. And honestly, if you're going for high points on some of these, most would probably deem it unfair to use save states to sit there and restart from a certain point to continually make for the optimal game. It should be done all in one run. After all, we're trying to make this as classic and original as it ever was, just with a kind of a facelift going for this HD look. Now, if you watched my unboxing, you saw I was disappointed in the lack of packaging. One guy did comment on there that his was the same way, so it's starting to look less likely that mine was a return, but more likely that it's just they don't have their poop together down there where they're packaging these things. So far, it's functioning fine. I've had no issues with it. A little pricey at $70 if you ask me, when they duped you out of the paddle controllers, which thank God I have, both real ones and ones that came with the older flashbacks. But for anybody that was buying this as their first flashback, no one's going to go buy those from you at games as an accessory. That's not going to frickin' happen. You'd be better off buying a used flashback off some fool at a yard sale or a flea market like I did and getting them that way for like $10. So just crazy, man. I imagine they're trying to cut their costs, but dad darn, you're raising the price. So that doesn't jive with me. But whatever, if you're doing what I do, if you're doing it the Emceemur way, if you're trading, I only got about $15 in this thing based on what I traded in to get the full value of $70. So I don't regret the purchase. It's going to be nice to have. And you got to take a look at this thing. Ty Lord Stevenson here says, "Hi MC, so you don't hate this thing anymore?" I really don't. I mean, hate's a strong word. I know I was getting frustrated in the first stream, and I'm more frustrated with that stream than ever now that it didn't process or ever make it over to my channel for whatever reason. But I was more or less frustrated that, the instructions, again, don't tell you anything about the save states. So it was just poop on a stick. And if you don't want to use the controller that comes with this, the wireless one, which will require batteries, you're going to have to have the console right next to you so you can hit the select buttons on it. Otherwise, you can't even access the menu to the left. So, I'm glad I have this, but I can still say a lot of bad things about it. And for a lot of reasons, there's a bad taste in my mouth. If I was a person that did shell out, honest to God, $70 cash, I probably would feel a little bit cheated. When, again, how light the thing was, it felt used from the get-go because everything was just loose in the box, rattling around. We know now that I'm not the only one that got one that way, but that's just really piss poor. And again, if you're not looking to stream this thing and you're not worried about the HD, there are cheaper ways to get an Atari Flashback. The Atari Flashback 4 I had is much better equipped if you don't count it not being HD ready. And I could stream it simply by upscaling the AV to the HDMI, and I only paid $15 for that used. So, yeah, I can't beat that with a dadgum stick right there. And if you could, why would you? Sorry if you're joining us close to the end, but this was just a quick stream again since the other one did not make it onto the channel. I will add the link in the description for that if you want to watch the original playthrough again, because I was kind of going off on some things, and that's kind of funny in retrospect to check out. I also will include a link to GenXGamer's channel. You got to check out his Pac-Man retrospective. Super freaking cool. The GenXGrownUp. Really enjoy his channel, man. He's doing some good stuff, and if you haven't seen him yet, I want you to check him out. But that's it for tonight. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't dropped a like yet, drop a like on there. And if you have not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you like watching people unbox things day one or potentially have problems with them day one or come back later on day 3 and still enjoy them and pretend like it's day 1 hoping for the same results. Because that's pretty much what we're doing here. But I gotta say, it was fun. And I will be playing more of this. And I will be going for high scores. And we'll wear those save states out for whatever the hell they're worth. Thanks again for joining us, guys. We will see you tomorrow in the late afternoon for some Mario Odyssey action. And whatever cool day 1 treats the rest of the weekend holds for us. See all of you next time.